Welcome to our Math 0232 Lesson 2A. Again, make sure you have your worksheet in front of you, paper, extra paper, calculator, anything along those lines that you want to have as your resources, but you can always hit pause and go get what you need. But starting with this lesson 2A, in the next preview assignment in the next class, you'll need to be able to compare dot plots, histograms, and box plots. Before we begin with dot plots, go ahead and hit pause and find the resource mean, median, mode, and median, which is in my math lab under student materials to print, then the in-class student notebook, and scrolling down, you'll see mean, median, mode, and median. Go ahead and find that, but before you do, question 1 says, find the definition of median of a group of data and how is the median found? So I would like for you to just write down your thoughts about what median is or what it represents, then go find the resource and look at the definition and clarify what you have written. When you have clarified that, come back to this video and we'll start talking about dot plots. So the paragraph starts with a dot plot is a type of graphical display used to compare counts within categories or groups. Counts are represented with stacked dots. As you will notice over here, we have stacked dots. Each dot represents one occasion of that category. Like right here, there's a dot, and here's the category. We have something that's between no dollars and $4.99. A good skill is to always look at your graph, look at what's presented in front of you, and notice this is the amount paid for a cellular phone, and it is in dollars. Always look at your axes. That's the number of students. That will count our dots. And then this is the monthly price. So a monthly price being between no dollars and $4.99. We have a student, etc. So I don't need to get ahead of myself. I need to look at question 2 with you guys. It says a college class was polled to see the monthly charges right up here, monthly charges, on their cell phone bills for their phones, not including the service. The results are shown. Each dot represents one student. Before you listen to this video, you need to go ahead and work parts A through H. When you're finished with that, come back and let's talk through this video. Let's start by looking at part A. Part A asks how many. A good skill is to underline, circle, focus on, make parts of the question obvious as to what we're looking for. It says how many students paid between no dollars and $4.99 per month. We come up here to our dot plot, and there are 8 total dots. So that means there are 8 students. Looking at B, how many students paid less than $10 per month? We've got to be real careful because if this is exactly $10 going up to $14.99, that's not what they're looking for. They want to know less than. So less than would be all of the dots over here. So we have 8 from the first column, and can't really see, but it looks like we have 5 from the second column. So it looks like students who paid less than $10 per month, that would be 13 students. Part C asks how many students paid more than $14.99 per month on their phones. More than. This is exactly 14 or up to $14.99. So more than will be the students on this side of our graph. We have 3, we have 4. So the answer to part C is we have 7 students who paid more than $14.99 per month on their phones. Moving on to question D, how many students paid more than $20 per month for their phones? More than $20 per month? Well, not sure, because if it's more than $20 per month for their phone, this is exactly 20 plus. So I'm going to put 4 students with a little question mark. I bet this one's supposed to mean $20 or more. So as long as you get the idea of how to read a dot plot, that's what these questions are teaching us. Part E on question 2 says how many students were polled and how do you know? Earlier in the definition, it said these are counts and they're represented by stacked dots. And then it says in question 2 that a college class was polled. So that tells us that the students who responded, we have 8, 5, 6, 3, 4. So the students who responded 8 and 5, 6 and 3, and 4 more, we have 26 students were polled. And how do you know? Well, they're all represented there with their responses by a dot. Part F says, in the dot plot, are you able to see every data value? The answer is yes. We can see every piece. We can't see the exact number of what the student pays, but we get to see the question that was asked and the result from the question. Part G, in the dot plot, how do you tell which prices are the most popular or the least popular? It's pretty nice in a dot plot that the tallest stacks are the most popular, the shortest stacks are the least popular. And then part H says, in the dot plot, is the median shown clearly? A median. Median's what you looked up earlier, where the process is you will line up all of the values from least to greatest or greatest to least, and you will look for the number that's in the middle. You'll do one thing if it's an even set of numbers and another thing if it's an odd set of numbers. But when you look here, trying to figure out, well, if I start with these students and these are the students at the end, somewhere here is my median. So the answer to H, no. It is not clear. We would need to list these out and then do the median process to find it. In the next quantitative reasoning lesson, you'll also need to know about histograms. A histogram is a visual display of data. Another reminder, make sure you're circling, highlighting, starting a glossary list or Google Docs, something to keep up with all of these words. It's a visual display of data, specifically where the data is grouped into ranges, bins, and then plotted using bars. Histograms are similar to bar graphs, except histograms are used with ranges of numerical data, while bar graphs represent counts, such as how many students earned an A, how many earned a B, etc. So looking at our histogram, the data in the table below shows the data showed that the 10 countries with the fastest mobile download speeds in 2017, and here's the reference of where that comes from, but make sure you look at your chart. These are the countries, fastest mobile downloads. Here are the number of countries, the download speed, megabytes per second. And the same data is in the chart as in the histogram. Reading from the worksheet, I see part A is asking which country had the fastest download speed. Fastest download speed, which country? We need to report Norway. Part B, did you use the table or the histogram to answer the question and why? We used the table. A question of why, we can see specific data or add in your rationale. Part C, if you wanted to know the most common range of download speeds for the fastest 10 countries, would you use the table or the histogram? And then looking at how the question is worded, the most common range, a reminder that a histogram has a range or ranges, and then the amounts are listed as groups in the visual display in the bars. Like right here, you can tell that 4 countries have these speeds, where only 1 country has this speed, and this must be Norway. Keep going, box plots are next. This is a great time to hit pause on the video. Notice at the top of our page, it's talking about box plots and a 5-number summary in box plots. The 5-number summary is a resource, and that's already written there. I'm writing it again. It's a resource in your quantitative reasoning text, which is inside My Math Lab, or if you purchase the bundle, it's going to be at the very back of that. Take a minute to go get that, look at it, print it, download it, but look through the 5-number summary and box plots, and then answer question 4, parts A through D. After you've completed parts A through D, come back and let's go through those parts in the video together. So looking at question 4A, what are each of the numbers in the 5-number summary? Those you can take straight off of the 5-number summary resource. It's a good time to start memorizing them. And I like to start with extremes when I'm rewriting them. I like to write down that there's a minimum and that there's a maximum, like a lowest and the highest. The next one that's easy for me to go to is the median. It's in the middle. And we'll come back and assign some percentages. But looking at the minimum, maximum, and median, then you're going to have quartiles. We've got a few more over here, but we mention these as quartile 1 and quartile 3. I'm going to throw in some percentages. Minimum is at 0%. Maximum is at 100%. The median is at 50%. Quartile 1, like if you have 4 quarters, if you have only 1 quarter, you have 25%, but if you have 3 quarters, you have 75%. Part B, what do the vertical lines in the box plot represent? The vertical lines represent, it says numbers in the 5-number summary, and that is correct. I'll leave it at that. It represents each of those. I was going to be more specific, but yes, the vertical lines represent all of the above. What does the box in the box plot represent? And the box is going to contain quartile 1, the median, which is quartile 2, and quartile 3. It's going to be between, it's going to have all of the data and information between and including quartile 1 and quartile 3. Part D asks, what do the whiskers in a box plot represent? The whiskers contain all of the data between the minimum and quartile 1 and the data between quartile 3 and the maximum. We finish up our lesson talking on question 5 about a box plot or box and whiskers plot graph. It says 10 faculty members. So I am hoping that you're learning lots of skills to underline, highlight, think through, use the data that's given, use the data that you've seen before, and let's solve this problem. 10 faculty members compared their monthly bills, and right here, monthly charge, that would be their bills, for cellular phone service for their families. The monthly charges are shown in the following table. A box plot of the same data follows the table. Part A says, what is the median of the data and how is it shown in the box plot? Well, how it's shown is real simple. The median is right there. It's that vertical line. But we can't see it exactly, so we need to go calculate the median. Some practice calculating the median. We're looking for the smallest number. And we're going to line these up, either smallest to largest or largest to smallest. Next smallest, and I like to cross these out to let myself know the ones I've used and the ones I have yet to use. So just crossing these out, looking for largest, smallest, all the way up, all the way up. Make sure you're writing all of this down, and you should have paused and completed this question before watching the video. So if you have not already completed these questions, and I skipped somebody right there, 199. We squeeze that one in right there. 275. If you haven't paused the video and done this by yourself, you need to go ahead and pause, do all of this by yourself, and then come back and watch the video. Early in this lesson, or the first thing, you were asked to look at a median, to define a median, to put it in your own words. And so a median, eventually, the process is to line the numbers up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have an odd amount, and so this is an easier process than when there's an even, but it's neither one are hard. So I've got about 4 numbers up here. I've got 4 numbers here, and the number in the middle, I'm missing something. I did it again. I've missed 2 whole numbers. So let's do some double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we still have 4 numbers on the bottom. We still have 4 numbers on the top, but it's not just the 199. I have to now find the mean or the average of those 2 numbers. We will add them up. We're getting 404. And when I divide 404, finding the average by the 2 items, I end up with 202. So this number that this bar is representing is $202. Part B says, if you only had the box plot, what could you say about the original data? You could say a lot. You couldn't be as specific and talk about 350 or 199, but you can say a lot. You can say that the minimum, oh, let's see, minimum is somewhere in the neighborhood of 100, and you could say that. Minimum is somewhere around 100. You could say that the maximum is somewhere around, and since I know what it is, I'm going to go ahead and say 380. And you can talk about that the majority of the prices, and you can talk about the range, like from quartile 1 to quartile 3. You can talk about where the median is. There are lots of things that you can say that if you just had the box plot, you could say a lot of approximations, but it would be very difficult to be specific. So I think the big idea on this is that the box plot is wonderful. It's a great visual, but you can only get approximate data. The table is harder to look at and to digest, but it gives you exact, specific information. This concludes our lesson for Math 0232. This is lesson 2A. You need to look at your calendar to see if there are other lessons that you need to complete before our deadline this week. Thanks, and bye-bye.